I'm single, so stop worrying about who else I'm talking to. You need to worry about being my favorite. Then I talk to you more than I'm talking to them. But if neither one of y'all say, oh, you're my girlfriend, then I'm talking to all of y'all. Just try to be my favorite. Huh?
You don't talk to anybody. You don't talk to men just because you're single. And they sold you this lie of, oh, it would just come. You need to stop worrying about that. Just serve the Lord. And if you get busy and you pretend like you don't want marriage, then it's going to come. We don't give this advice for anything else. If someone wants a higher paying job, no one says to be idle. They say keep applying, position yourself in the job market, right? Until it happens. Even if you get rejected by one company, does that mean that you stop applying for the job that you want? No. You keep applying until it happens.
Yeah, that's a fact. You're looking at the church, and a lot of men are simply leaving the church because you're seeing these worldly ideologies that have seeped into the fabric of the congregation. Women are not being held accountable to the scripture. The feminist movement has slowly taken over.
Now, we can't work with someone who is still dreaming. Now, you go get your dream together, darling, and then we can still be friends as you're figuring things out.
Why the ladies laughing? Y'all don't want dreamers?
I will support you as a friend. Like, you got it, baby. You can do it. But don't come over here trying to tie your life with mine if you still in dream mode. Okay? Because I can't raise a family on a dream.
You see, these modern women want to show up and wait at the finish line. Okay, they want to move in once you've done the heavy lifting. Okay, the blood, sweat, and tears that you've endured on your own, they want you to handle that. Okay, they want to simply move in once you've built everything from the ground up. Okay, what I'm looking at is I rather work with somebody from the grassroots. Okay, somebody that's been there through thick and thin versus somebody that has moved in.
If you like a guy, the absolute best thing you can do is friend zone him. I am so dead serious about this. But Nikki, I don't want to put him in the friend zone because I really like him. I understand. But the problem with liking someone is that you give them too much credit before they even prove themselves to you. And also, you don't actually really get to know them. You just like this idea of them in your head. But if you friend zone them, then you're actually getting to know the person and see if you really like them. And you get to see if they're persistent enough to try to get out of the friend zone. I wish I knew that sooner because I feel like I would have been less weirder on my crushes if I just friend zoned them.
Stop it. Get some help.
It took me way too long to accept that it is not my responsibility to assume and predict people's feelings, and it's their responsibility to communicate that with me. I grew up in a chaotic and emotionally unstable environment, and that caused me to step into the role of being overly predictive and careful and cautious about other people's emotions and feelings so that I could have a little more control over the safety of the environment and the comfort of the environment. And as an adult, that translates to taking way too much responsibility for the people around you, having way too much anxiety about their reactions, their responses, and whether you offended them or if you're worrying them or whatnot. And honestly, one of the most liberating things I did was a few years ago, I just decided to let go of all that shit and trust that the mature, responsible adults in my life would be able to communicate to me what they need.
I got sprinkled by a boy and I need to talk about it. I meet this boy early November and by the end of November we are boyfriend and girlfriend, and I know that's fast, but that's just how it happened. I was in Europe and I thought I was in love, okay? In the beginning he told me about having 2 jobs that he hates, he's miserable, he doesn't make that much money. I am fortunate enough to say that I'm doing well. Like, it's okay, no problem. And I started getting dinners and lunches and just, you know, a lot of things, to the point where I was paying 80% of our things. I would bring the bill for dinner and he would just sit back and wait for me to take it. He even paid for our first date. A month in of knowing of each other's existence, not just dating, this guy comes to my apartment and makes me dinner, and it was really good. And I'm like, wow, that's really good. You know what? You cook, I'll pay the bills. Obviously, as a fucking joke. He laughed, I laughed. I thought we were on the same page. We moved on.
I mean, stupid games get stupid prizes, okay? It doesn't seem like you clarified that it was a joke. But let's keep going.
For an apartment in Barcelona, and he's helping me. He keeps sending me 2 bedrooms, and I'm like, why do I need a 2-bedroom? It's just me. He's like, well, where am I going to put all my clothes? I have a lot of things. Also, it has to be a pet-friendly apartment because of my dog. I'm like, when the fuck did we talk about moving in together? I play dumb, and I'm like, oh, are you going to pay for your place and then also half of this? He's like, no, why would I do that? Just like, what do you mean? Why would you do that? He's like, yeah, you said I cook, you pay the bills. As a joke. This man took it seriously. I tell him that I'm joking, that that's not gonna happen, and that he can move in when he can pay his half, and also later in the future. Ever since that happened, I was just anxious every single time we talked about money, or we even went out to dinner, because I knew I was just gonna pick up the tab. But I go to Texas for a whole month, so for a whole month I don't see him. So I forget the money thing, right? I come back, we meet in Portugal, I get the hotel, I get the Ubers, I get the breakfast. He doesn't even bother to say thank you anytime I paid.
She doesn't like the fact that she's living the life of an average man. Okay, the average man goes through these very same things. So now that you've experienced it for a couple of months, you're already complaining about it after you made that stupid joke. But let's keep going.
We come back to Barcelona and we're planning a trip to Cadiz. Of course, I paid the hotel. So before going on this trip, I was like, you know what? I want to clear the air so I don't have that anxiety every single time they bring the bill. I text him and I'm like, hey baby, for this trip and moving forward, I think we should each pay our own stuff, because we need to save. You pay for your shit, I pay for mine. I wasn't even asking this man to pay for my stuff. Mind you, he would talk about his savings all the time, saying that he could afford to go to Bali 10 times there and back. Like, he had money, he made decent money, and he just did not. He just wanted to save it all and didn't want to spend it. When I tell you, he was fucking livid. He starts going off saying how he thinks that's so cheap to split the bill. He's like, in a relationship, I don't notice who is paying more than the other. That he hates people that think that way, that I'm not the Natalia that he met. Who did I talk to that made me change my mind and my way of thinking? You're calling me cheap because I want you to pay for your own. When I tell you I've never been so quick to drop someone, he's 30, I am not dealing with it. This is done. Never thought this would happen to me. I'm kind of flattered that I was like a little sugar mama for a bit. Silver lining, right?
All right, guys, so there you have it. Couldn't handle the pressure of taking on the bills. Okay, the very thing that women want men to do, she couldn't do for a couple of months. Okay, truly fascinating. Okay, this is a prime example. God forbid, if you were to lose your job, there's going to be a limited time where she's going to be able, or wanting to be able, to take on covering the bills. Okay, if you lose your job, God forbid, you better have a backup plan or some sort of savings where you can cover the rent and the bills that you guys have agreed upon. Okay, because once you lose your job and God forbid you don't have at least 6 months of living expenses, okay, to cover the bills, and she's now on the hook to cover those bills, that relationship is on a timer. Okay, I'm just saying, she is not going to take on and assume those responsibilities for much longer. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Go ahead and provide me some feedback, and until next time.